Picking up where we left off, we're about to go talk to Riol about a report that he has for Elfino. Luckily, he's right here. Pleasure as always, Oscar. You'll be escorting the commander to Uldar, I take it. Actually, I had another task in mind for her. If you would be so kind as to repeat your report for her benefit. Right then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of the weapons what found their ways into refugee hands a ways back. So happens we caught wind of something promising. A rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near Hardbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting, clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Brings to mind that merchant who caught an arrow while talking to Osaka, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Osaka? Sounds like a plan. Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at Highbridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Uldar. I expect good tidings. Let's go there then. Where's Highbridge? There it is. It's raining. It's raining hard. Hello, Ilbert. Ah, Asuka. My scouts have been keeping a close eye on the Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard. Common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize. This is far beneath a woman of your standing, and Commander Levior needn't have dispatched you hither. But powerful men have ever have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, 'tis only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. 'Tis. Bait and switch. Now then, we should make for the burning wall, without delay, and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape. With me, Asuka. Let's go. Where are they? Ah, here he is. I spy the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, My men and I will slip past and catch the Black Marketeer unawares. Okay. Once you have disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, my friend. Let's go create us a distraction. Hello, hired thug. Who goes there? An adventurer? Damn fool, you should have never come here. No, 'tis you who should never have come. Oops. Accidentally killed just something that was standing nearby. Here's our destination. I don't understand. What's this all about? Grog! Investigate the disturbance. We can do that. Oh, Ilbert killed a guy. As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard, and to bring an inexperienced recruit. Commander Leveilleur will be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though we know not how, they slipped past our perimeter. At present, the first is currently tracking a party of Duskwhite sellswords we suspect may be them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the immortal flames with the brass blades. Alas, we're here to aid them. They're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least, we've secured the weapons. Yet even that accomplishment is lacking. For the information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. Yeah. Best laid schemes. I will join the first in their hunt of the Duskwhite sellswords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask that you deliver these weapons to Ulda in my stead. Entrust them to the third's Yu Yu Hase. He will take care of the rest. Okay. We will do that. Where is he? Well, that's probably as close as we're gonna get. Hey, Yu Yu Hase. Ah, the warrior of light, ever reliable friend of the Crystal Braves. Give my deepest thanks for your assistance in Kurthus. Now, what brings you to us this day? These weapons. A gift of weapons from a certain Black Marketeer, courtesy of Captain Ilbert, you say? Understood. Once we've catalogued the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of the Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? Real stated with confidence that there would be a far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood. Certainly, Riol is unfamiliar with the ways of full-time merchants, who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that his information was not completely erroneous, and that we managed to achieve anything of worth at all. It's still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Anyway, besides, we've got more important things to worry about, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if I have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch, not to seek glory in battle. If you have no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to the cerulean processing plant. Time for the fourth to earn their keep, eh? Fight well, Elion. For the freedom of all. Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured that the Immortal Flames will hear of your contribution. Until we meet again. Oh, real. Oscar, a word if it please you. Nor here. Look for me at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need whistling this time. Don't you worry. What secrets do you have? Thanks for indulging me request. Few places better than a market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the Burning Wall, when you and the captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. That's not quite how they first told it. These Duskwights they were chasing, latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw them yourself, not before the fighting started, and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boast. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. Humph. As if I've never deciphered a moneylender's books, or had to follow transactions back to its core source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these days the money flows like water, and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, Fred. I'm a lot on my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending an ear. Right then, best get back to work. Asuka, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you're able. Okay. Let's go talk to Tataru. What's up, Tataru? Thank you for coming so quickly, Asuka. We've a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. A most, determined lady by all indications. The Rising Chorus. Our guest is with the antecedent in the solar at present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we? Let's go find out who this guest is. Oh, it's Lucia.
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers. Not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was Midgard Soma himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgard-Zorma had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgard-Zorma. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept?
Yes.
We knew you would not disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
Well, that's foreboding. Forgive me if I state aught which you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. As Oriange stated, what we now call the Keeper of the Lake is the wreckage of the Agrius, former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and the corpse of the worm responsible for its destruction. 15 years ago, as the next step in his campaign to subject Eorzea, Gahisvan Belsar attempted to seize control of Mordona. So massive was his force that all thought his victory a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day. Midgard-Zorma, legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls, burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airships overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silvertear Skies, the Great Worm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrius. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's ceruleum engines failed, and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at a great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the great worm as well. That same explosion transformed Silvertear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its waters and crystallizing ether from mulms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, and at its center a constant reminder of that fateful day long ago. In accordance with Sir Emmeric's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the keeper of the lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage for yourself. Be careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let us not neglect our own tasks. There is much to be done, and precious little time to do it. Alright. Let's go talk to the Domans. Just gotta leave the Rising Stones. Nope. Hello, Doman Watch. You're in luck, miss. I was about to send word to Revenant's Toll about the Garleans. Of late, I've seen small airships, likely from Castum Sentry, come and go from the Keeper of the Lake, though I cannot say for certain at this distance. I believe they may be salvaging something from within the wreckage. The Castrum supply lines have been cut for some time, and I'd wager they're desperately in need of spare parts and other equipment. So it's true then, the Ishgardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again. Well, from here, that seems rather unlikely. But if it's assurances they want, you've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit the wreckage, and the aforementioned Garleans, who won't take kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire upon an airship, so I'd advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrius, then climb to the top. That's the only viable approach, I'd say. Okay. We will do that. Big dragon corpse. Big old crabs. Convenient that little bits of wreckage fall to let us advance. weird dragon bird thing. Now we found the guardians. One of which dropped a key. Which opens that barrier. You gotta let that Colossus out in order to kill it. To do that, break that. The terminal that's controlling the force. Would drop any keys? No. Another section of the same sort of thing. That Colossus dropped a key for us, which will let us through this barrier. Boss. Made quick work of that. Now we're on the outside. Wait for gunship to blow up the troubles past it. Of dead dragons.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet?
Aren't you supposed to be dead?
Remember, mortal, and fear me.
Big ghost dragon. He's raising one of the dead ones. Dropped a field generator, which we have to activate when Midgard Swimmer gets around to doing that big move that covers the whole arena. Otherwise, we die. There we go. Now we do that a second time. Giant kill everyone move. this hit. There we go. Defeated Midgard Sorter's ghost. I bet he's gonna have some interesting stuff to say now.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen.
You gonna attack Ishgard?
Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive.
But
7 children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end.
no thank you.
Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent.
What do you
Fear
consent to?
not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
That looks like harm, though. You shot a laser through my chest. What are you doing? These are my crystals. Why are you turning off my crystals? The heck you do that for?
Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker.
Yeah?
Thou art mistaken. If thou comest of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more.
It's a little baby dragon.
The covenant binds me to thee. I shall watch, listen, and wait.
For what?
Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lieth beyond his grasp. I drink of her body, and thence doth mine own find new life. When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth a beginning and an end.
I don't like that one bit. I was beginning to fear the worst. Were those explosions I saw? Ah, but you shouldn't waste time talking with me. Alphino left a message stating that you were to return to the Rising Stones at once. Okay. Midgard Sorber just turned off all my crystals. Not happy about that. But apparently he's got some sort of deal with Heidelin that he's not telling us about. Where are you, Alphino? Praise the 12 that you are hale and whole. I came as soon as Minfilia informed me of Sir Emeric's request. You have completed your investigation of the Keeper of the Lake, I take it. Then I would hear your report. Well, it's not good news. You conversed with Midgard Sormir. I swear, were anyone else to make such a claim, I would regard it with considerable skepticism. Are we to understand that the Wormlord did not perish, and has in sooth lain dormant these past 15 years? Yes. Less a resurrection and more a rejuvenation for he who dwelleth in eternity, years passing as moments. Though his words were ambiguous at times, one statement left little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song, Ishgard shall burn. Clearly an attack is imminent. We must share this information with Sir Emeric immediately. However, we dare not divulge your conversation with Midgard Sormir in its entirety. To even acknowledge that you heard the voice of a Dravanian is a grave but necessary risk. Lest we forget, men have been executed as heretics for declaring as much. For your own protection and for the sake of our tenuous relations with Ishgard, the truth cannot leave this room. As for how we shall present our revelation to Sir Emmerich's emissary, you may leave that to me. Pray remain here for now. Is there something you are not telling us, Asuka? You seem different somehow. 'Tis almost as if you are missing something. Something important. Yeah, he turned off my crystals. 12 for friend! Midgard stripped you of the blessing of light. Are you alright? How do you feel? Fine-ish. I see. It is a relief to hear that you are otherwise unharmed. It beggars belief that any being could possess the power to deprive you of her blessing. Midgard made mention of a covenant, did he not? One of the ancient myths regarding Silvertooth Falls states that when the waters came into existence, so too did the Great Worm. Althik and Nymea, brother Time and sister Fate, decreed that Midgard Sormer ever watch over the source from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder, if this was the covenant of which he spoke, and 'twas not the gods with whom he treated, but Heidelin herself. Well, if he is watching over you as he claimed, mayhap you will have an opportunity to ask. Let us keep this matter to ourselves. I do not wish to burden our friends needlessly. Okay. Art thou a pawn or master of thy fate? What hast thou wrought by thine own hands, mortal? Don't make me punt you.
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Wormlord and lived to tell the tale. I give thanks to Helone for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. A great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other. The Dravanians are coming.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature. Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries. This will be no different. And now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord Commander's calls for the wards to be strengthened. I dare not presume to speak for him, but I expect the Lord Commander would sing your praises. I must away, but we shall meet again soon.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
Because this time we're involved, so we need a plot. The Ishgardians have warred with the Dravanians for centuries, nay, nearly 1,000 years. In all that time, not once have their enemies breached their defenses and entered the city proper. Yet regardless of how strong these magical wards may be, I nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgard Sormer who roared, a call to arms by one of the first brood cannot be ignored. Until such time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught but observe the situation at a distance, and pray that our fears are unfounded. ether on demand. Ere I forget, I believe Brida has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Asians. Pray inform her that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I have completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. Okay. Hey, Brida. No. Brida. All done with your talk of dragons? Wonderful, because Asians are next on the menu. Let's head into the Solar, shall we? Yes, let's.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Asian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Asian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Asian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Asian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute. Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods?
Happilimo.
Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Asian's soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Asian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve, and I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? Aye, I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it's worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Arceans will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thancred and Papalymo shall accompany you. Ida and Y'shtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white orosite.
Thank you, Arianger. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you are able. Go well, and be safe.
Alrighty. Before we head to Northern Thanalan to deal with that business, I think that is a good place to stop for the time being, and we'll pick back up dealing with that Garlean threat in the next video.